Hi, Alan Stockdale back again with Debbie Anderson. This is part 3 of his weekly podcast stroke YouTube episodes. So in this one today, what we're going to do, we're going to answer a question what a listener asked Debbie about one of her videos. So if you just want to explain, Debbie, what video it was and what the question was about.
It was, I was talking about some of the dark ones, specifically about those narcissistic, malignant narcissists who do nasties to people in this 3D lifetime. And the video was really about why we should heal ourselves. And that's really what it was about. So the person left a comment of, well, is there justice for their actions? In other words, either 3D and or, on a higher, with God or, source.
Yeah.
Is there
like
is there an answer?
Like a justice. Really like a karma
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. Yeah.
So they wanted to know that. So I said I would do a video, and then I thought of doing the video with you. So that's the question.
Right. Awesome. Well, that is it. We're doing this video because it's a really amazing question to ask, because it's so many different levels to the answer, isn't there? And all of them are right. It's just depending on what point of view you're looking at it from, basically.
Yeah.
So do you want me to start, or do you want to start? What do you want to do, Debbie? I'm easy either way.
Well, I didn't. I had some questions about it, so I did a meditation yesterday, and what I was told by higher self was very interesting, was that yes, we do have contracts with those around us that that we set up before we get here. So they can also seem like, they're difficult, and learning lessons, about things like jealousy or grief, so we learn those. But also what I was told was, what happened was it got out of hand. In other words, when we started out as the fractals and we began our excursions to wherever we wanted to go, we had a great time, but eventually we weren't growing and expanding and bringing that information back to source as much, because and we sort of got, as you might describe, as bored maybe, and we weren't growing as much. So then source, the creator, decided, okay, well, let's make the negative aspect, let's have the duality and make that. So let's learn about jealousy, and let's learn about grief, and let's learn, it wasn't dreadful. So then we began to learn those kind of lessons. We'd come back and we'd learn about, how terrible it was to lose, let's say, a child, or, a divorce, and these kinds of things. And we'd begin to grow by those experiences.
Or even somebody what's murdered you, or murdered your relatives, or even...
Well, it began to get bigger and darker with examples like you're saying there. But then what happened is that part, just like there's the good, the light in terms of source grows and expands, also the dark did, which became then everywhere, and bigger and bigger and bigger, and darker and darker and darker. And so those who do not really make a contract, like, for example, I specifically wanted to know about a person who had gone through a very dark experience. And this person, though, I found out, didn't have a contract with the other person. There wasn't a soul contract. And so that person, those kinds of dark entities that do not have the contracts, there is a repercussions I don't know what those are, but that there are, like, it's It's not like they get away with it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They don't, but not in our realm so much as, like we hear, people might go to prison or those kinds of things here, which for certain actions and criminal activities and so on. But I'm talking about on a larger scale. Now, there was nothing about the karmic aspect of that, because that's not happening anymore. As we talked about.
I think, going to what you're saying. First of all, I'd like to say I totally agree with everything you've just said. It totally resonates with me. It's where I'm coming from. I mean, my wife actually had messages from her higher self yesterday, and we talked about it just before we started recording, and it was virtually word for word what you've just said in a roundabout way, which is really good confirmation, because neither of us knew we were going to do that. And
no, and we didn't. I didn't talk to Jilly.
Exactly.
No, that's cool.
So that's for me. That's ultimate confirmation, because obviously she's my wife, and she's always right anyway.
Yeah, of course she is.
That goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yes.
But to answer that lady's question, I think I'd just like to elaborate a little bit more. So I don't know what happened to this lady that made the comment on your video, but for instance,
if it was a lady,
let's use an example.
I'm not sure it was a lady or a man.
Well, whatever. Yeah. Let's use an example.
Right.
Let's just say it's me. Let's somebody's done a wrong to me. Let's somebody's maybe driving a car while drunk and maimed my daughter, let's say. Didn't kill her, but maimed her, affected her for the rest of her life, right? Now, so let's just say that the person who did that did have a contract with my daughter and me, because we all agreed before we came here that was an experience that we wanted to have. My daughter wanted to agree to have the disability, let's say. The person that was driving the car, that was the culmination maybe of a contract he made to be a heavy drinker, let's say, because he was drunk while he was driving. So the culmination of that was he ended up in jail. So from a person who, like me, I might be writing onto a video to you saying, Debbie, is there any karma in that? Well, I would say that the person, when he's living the life, he's going to go to jail. So he's going to experience the jail time. So on a pure 3D level, you could say that that's his karma, and me as the victim's, dad could say, well, that's justice served. So you could say that's karma on that. But if I was thinking like, Debbie, is he going to get karma when he dies? Is he going to spend time in hell, which it doesn't exist in my opinion? It's all just Anyway, we'll not go down that road.
That's another conversation.
And I would say, and I would ask that question, and the answer to that is no. There isn't no karma, because we all agreed before we came into this life to have these experiences. So therefore, there's no karma to pay, is there? But then we take it to a whole new level, and this is what my wife said. Her higher self said to her, was that these dark ones what do have contracts with us. So even on a scale of evil, like whatever scale we want to take it to, let's say the imposition what we're in on Earth now. I'm not saying they haven't gone overboard with the contracts. I know they have, but let's just say hypothetically, everyone on the entire planet, what's ever been here, agreed to have this amount of evil, what we're going through now. So there is contracts like that in the universe, what does exist. And once again, there's no karma for that, because everyone agreed that's what we're going to go through. When you're experiencing the life, you don't know that. To you, it's like now, on Earth now, it's just all these evil entities doing what they've been doing. It's terrible. But in the bigger picture, we agreed to that, didn't we? But her higher self elaborated.
Those ones, Yep,
her higher self did elaborate that there is the dark ones what do not keep to these contracts for whatever reason. That may be, it didn't elaborate. I didn't tell her, but it just basically said that these evil entities what do go well beyond the contracts, like I would suggest has happened on Earth, and just run away with it, and just really maybe it's because they've cut themselves off so much they just don't think they are just this evilness, and that's all they are. I don't know, but either way. There is some sort of retribution for them, like you said, and like my wife's higher self said, didn't elaborate what that was.
No.
Who knows? Is it some sort of spiritual rehabilitation you have to go through, or the the ultimate. I mean, I can't really see the ultimate being destroyed as a consciousness forever, because that seems a bit too much like hell and damnation and for all eternity. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not Source. I don't know. So, but so hopefully that's in a multi level way, I'll probably answer the question. I thought, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, when I asked specifically to, not yesterday, but another time, there was some questions about something that had happened to a particular person, and what it wasn't me, it was another healer said this person didn't have a contract, they didn't have a soul, is what they said. So that was also very interesting.
Oh, wow.
In that they were not supposed to be here. They were not supposed to come down to this planet, and they somehow got through the veil, and they were not supposed to be here. And then they became involved in a situation which was very harmful to the other person. And that person also was not supposed to be here.
Wow. Wow.
They were not on the evil. They were the ones that was the victim of a bad circumstances and abuse. So,
and obviously there was no contract made then by this person. It was all just this evil entity just taking it upon himself to do whatever. Yeah.
Right. And and the interesting thing was that the healer said there was no soul, which was kind of, but maybe they couldn't see the spark, maybe, because that was very strange to me.
Do you think could it possibly be some sort of artificial or intelligence type entity with no soul? Is that
that's very interesting.
You know what I mean?
That's like they didn't have any organic consciousness. That's very well, I never thought of that.
Well, it would explain why it doesn't have a soul as such, but it's got a consciousness what's connected to, well, whatever that is, whatever reality they come from. I mean, you've done sessions before on clients where they get recycled back to the artificial universe, don't they? AI universe.
Yeah. They do get taken, and they don't go to source because there isn't that spark in that connection, because it's not the same kind of being at all.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So does that mean wow, that opens up a question in my head, that a really mind-blowing one. I was of the belief that everything, no matter what, comes from Source, because that's the ultimate creator of everything. But if those beings didn't have none of that because they didn't come from Source, does that mean they were created by a whole new type of entity? Maybe this evil, what's run away with itself, what you were saying earlier, what's grown and grown. And they produce like the artificial intelligence machines and the robots and consciousness.
Like that, they seem like they are organic. But when I've been in sessions with people and asked, well, are you AI? They'll say yes or no. I'll also ask if there's an organic consciousness to them. They'll tell me yes or no. And there's been many times that there has not been some kind of organic consciousness, that they are pure AI. So like machines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because that would make sense, because I didn't understand or grasp why this, why this person would not have a soul. Well, that's why. That would be an explanation as to why. And it is true. Like, I think the dark side, I think they did create, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and Source, I think it said, hey, like, we can't continue to have this. They're on different planets, and that these dark ones have taken over. And I think that's what's happening here on Earth. And on our planet here.
You think? I mean, I don't remember you recall you saying to me that some of these artificial intelligences were actually, as in the AI sort of entities, was controlled by the sort of, let's call it organic evil, let's say, for want of a better word, what's come from Source and just got its own way, whatever. Is that? I'm remembering that right, aren't I? You did say that, didn't you, in one of your?
That they were controlled, that the AI was controlled by
some of them,
some of them,
all.
Not all of them. Some of them were the masters, so to speak, about them were all AI, but there were others that so in other words, when you had to take the entities off the person, away from the person, you had to do both. You had to take the machine off, and you had to take the organic consciousness that was controlling the master, that was controlling the AI, the machine that was, perhaps in their third eye or their throat, and so on. Yeah, it was really fascinating, actually, and very sophisticated.
Debbie, I've just got a delivery coming to me house. I'm just going to have to just pause it for a second.
Sure.
2 seconds. Sorry about that. Yeah, just a parcel there. One of my wife's daily deliveries of presents she buys herself. So I won't say no more about that.
Love it. Good for her.
Right. So where was we at, Debbie?
We were talking about the AI. We were talking about the connection that I, sometimes have when I take these attachments off. That they're not just machines, and how sophisticated they are.
Yeah.
Like I have done whole sessions that I could think of with people where it's all AI, all of it, like on the person. And one particular person I could think of, I've done 2 sessions. They were in every single one, I believe, except there was one earthbound spirit, I think. They were all AI machines and cables and attachments and little like flying saucers and beings that were all. It was fascinating, really.
So are you surmising then that all these AI ones, what they've got attached to them, do you think that's out of contracts, what they had to come, when the person came to Earth to have an experience? And knowing full well what this Earth is like now, knowing it's infested with these, obviously from a higher perspective, you're going to know that Earth is infected by this AI intelligence, what's attaching to people, as well as all the other evilness. But we all know anyone that's on Earth now is a real badass when it comes to spiritualness, because you wouldn't be here otherwise, would you? Knowing what it's like. So I'm just pondering, I'm just thinking about myself, really. I mean, if I'd have known that they were there, then maybe you don't make a contract with them, but you sort of...
I don't know if we make contracts with them.
Maybe it's the ultimate test, Debbie. Maybe it's that. Maybe this place is the ultimate test for your soul to grow to the next level. Because when you imagine it, it's like sort of, imagine playing a game. I can use the analogy, 2 guys playing a computer game.
Yeah.
What if you're playing a computer game, but the computer game has got consequences, like you die in that? You die as a person. I'm not saying, but you know what I mean? So instead of having the safety of playing a game at a distance, like you do when you can look down on Earth and think, oh yeah, I'm going to jump into a body, I'm going to be born, I'm going to play this, I'm going to do that. And if I die, what does it matter? I know I'll live forever. I'm always here, so it doesn't really matter. You come into the life, obviously, you forget about all that before you came. You just get involved in the life, and that's what you're here to do. But what happens if this place where we are now is the ultimate place where you can go and have consequences, what will affect you in the afterlife, the higher dimensions? Maybe this is a place we have to go to pass that test to maybe progress to another level of consciousness. I don't know. This is not coming from any meditations. This is just me and my... And
questions,
whatever it is, it's I don't know. Just is it me imagination?
So you're like asking if you, I didn't know the answer. So I mean, obviously, I went to higher stuff like Jilly was getting to, and basically getting answers, that was really cool. That they were very, very similar.
It wasn't there?
Yeah, right. That's kind of confirmation. Yeah. This is what happens too when I do sessions. I'm sure you find that too. Is that absolutely. The information from the higher realms, it's often the same. Might be different words, might be different ways of phrasing it, but it's often the very same information. That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, that would be a good question to do later for a meditation and see if in fact the idea I got, or what I was told, was it got out of hand. So it's become too dark. And it didn't specifically say anything about AI. It just said the energies, were grown too dark, and they have to be changed, like removed.
Yeah.
And therefore there is consequences for those. But I don't know about whether or not.
If it is it all really by intention? That's what I'm sort of getting at from a really high perspective of, I don't know, let's just say sources thinking, to experience something brand new instead of it just being a playground where we come to have experiences, even though them experiences may be horrific. We all know that you go back to an afterlife and you're learning from that. But I saw set it up so it's more than that, as a way to grow. I don't know. I
don't know either.
Don't know.
It'd be a good question. I'm going to ask. Meditation. But the thing is a lot of these contraptions, these machines, the cables and the very sophisticated that were like in, for example, it would go like from the third eye. As I'm talking about this, my third eye is basically pulsing. That's interesting. Going from here could go down, it went down to their throat, it went into their arms, it went all the way down their spine. I had an AI that was wrapped around my spine like a device. And what they do is they monitor you. They take their information back to their servers or their, I mean like computers. I'm talking about when I say servers, not like a being.
I wonder if they're trying to learn off us, Debbie. Are these AIs attaching to us to try and learn how to get a spark, how to get a soul? Or I don't know. I mean,
well, they certainly have been trying to. Yeah, that's probably true. Is that they're trying to figure out how to grow like us, like how to make our DNA, how to not only control us, but how to
get actually spark what we've got. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what all this jibber jabber agenda's all about. In the sort of changing your DNA.
Like jibber jabber, you mean this?
As in the jibber jabber, yeah. That maybe that's all about that and experimenting with us as a race, even though on the outside it looks like it's humans doing it to us. But what happens if it's these AI controlling them because the AI wants to get some sort of soul, some artificial soul? I don't know, some way tapping into our source connection, but on their basis. And maybe that's why source has said, right, you've gone far enough now. I'm not having more of this in my
and we need to pull you back. Well, that's kind of a fascinating question too. I mean, that it all just leads to more questions, right? Right? Like,
well, the best debates always do, don't they? Yeah.
Right? Like,
at the end of the day, we don't know. I mean, we sit here. I mean, I feel quite knowledgeable on these spiritual matters. But at the end of the day, we don't really know, do we?
No.
We're not source as self, are we? We're not the be all and end all of everything and every knowledge. So who knows? But I think it does good to stretch,
to talk about it and stretch
your imagination and
I mean, why did they have all that jibber jab, as you call them? Like, I've heard obviously a few things that there is
be careful
nanos
because we don't
nanos and that could have been connected to certain kind of towers right, that we're going to be able to basically control what the person,
turning that person into an AI bot, let's say. Makes you think, doesn't it? This conversation's going full circle back to this earth again, but coming with the AI slant to it like that, with the jibber jabber to help them get a start. So who knows? But
I mean,
like I said, though, is the ultimate test, though, is it, Debbie? Is this the ultimate test? Is that why?
And who made the AI stuff? Was that the dark ones? Was that, like, where did that come from? Where
did it start?
Where did it start? Something had to start that.
Do you think it might have started with beings like us just making computers making artificial intelligences, and then somehow it's got sentient. Like, you know, we've seen all the movies, we've seen all the what they program you to think, but let's say that happened on another realm somewhere, and then that's just been growing for, I don't know, billions of years. I don't know. Who knows?
Or they were higher beings to begin with. Like they were more sophisticated, they were more technological, they were already more advanced. And so because it's not just us, right? Like But, and I don't know, it just leads to more questions, right? Yeah, I look like a red beet today. I have a very bad sunburn, I think, you know, from sitting outside. I just want to point that out.
You're not painful though, is it? Is it painful?
No.
Have you gone too far?
Or I'm too hot. Because I don't use the sunscreen.
No, don't use that.
No. Well, I just use the zinc oxide, which is not bad for you. So, but I don't think I put anything on me yesterday because it was cloudy. So, you know, anyway. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, I think we've elaborated probably way too far for the person's answer, but I think the first answers we gave, I think if that doesn't answer the question, because obviously if they're watching your video, they're aware of the spiritual side of nature and the work you do, so they can appreciate where we're coming from. So I think that's answered the question, but it's just opened up another can of worms a lot further.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah. We'll have to do the next video on AI and maybe specifically about that, because that would be a little fascinating to find out what we're told about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like myself, you, Jilly, to find out what all about that, right? Because we hear so much about that aspect.
There is. I mean, there's that guy on the internet at the moment. He's always talking about the AI and the AI of God and all that. But I think there's more to it than there's information, I think. But you know, I don't know. But
resonate that well with that.
No,
person.
Me either.
So,
Neither do I. No.
Yeah.
Can't put my finger on it. I just don't.
Me too.
But then again, we're talking about
AI.
So who knows? Who knows, Debbie? Who knows?
I thought he said he was from somewhere else. I think so. But anyway, that's another topic. So
I think we should all go away. Me, you, and Jilly. I think we should have a word with us higher selves, and then when we get some answers, we'll have a chat about it off camera. Let's see if we get similar information, and if it's worth making another video, then let's do it, because I think it sort of answers what a lot of people in our spiritual community, including me and you, and I'd like to know the answer to these things. It's very important.
It's really easy for people to do. I mean, you kind of lay it out in your book too. I've been reading your new book, and it really, you do specifically, anybody can do this kind of connection to higher self.
It's natural.
You lay it all out there, for people who don't know how to do that though, which is great. Like I was just like, wow, this is so good for people who are beginners or don't know how to, connect with their higher self, right? It was great. Very well.
Thanks for that. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, good. Yeah. So anyone listening to this, click on the link below, because I always put a link to my book. Now I'm an author. Feels so weird saying that still, Debbie.
It's great. You are. You are.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. It's great.
Wrap it up, shall we? And we'll do another one next week. And let's hope we're going to get some answers on those, because that'll be a really juicy one. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay. Look after yourself.
See you next time.
See you later. Bye.